So I got told on my first day. Don't know if I can say it. Called someone, asked them if their house was available for sale, and clearly it was not.
How did you deal with those? Like, a lot of people can't deal with it. Welcome to another episode of The Uncommon Conversation. In a world obsessed with image, performance, and perfection, this space is different. We don't just talk about the highlight reel, but we talk about the breakthroughs, the breakdowns, and everything in between that makes this person who they are today. It gives me great pleasure to introduce today's guest. Today's guest has mastered high pressure from the battlefield to the boardroom. He has sold nearly 600 million dirhams in property, earned over 12.5 million in commissions, and held leadership roles at both House & House and Arabian Estates here in Dubai. But before real estate, he served 9 years in the military as an aircraft engineer, operating under threat in Afghanistan and touching down in places like Las Vegas and San Diego. He's seen both chaos and control, and yet when asked about his greatest achievement, he doesn't hesitate. It's family. Nothing I've done compares to what I've built with them. This episode isn't about titles. It's about the man behind the mask. And it gives me great pleasure to bring you guys Mr. Ben Greenwood. Here we go. Mate, we've had many a chat before and we've gone down many holes.
I just got goosebumps.
We've gone down many holes before. And how does it feel me actually reading or introducing you like that?
Yeah, it's nuts when you see or when you hear things that are like written down about. It's easy to go through life and not take stock of, I guess, what you've done, and just get to a point where you just continue going, right? But then when you see or hear or read something like that, yeah, it's nice.
Oh, it gave me an absolute honour reading that. And even I read it yesterday and reading it again today, I was like, whoa, it's big, especially like as we're going to unfold, like these guys don't know what we've been through, and they will after what we discuss. But it's very interesting because when we have these conversations with people, when we're born, everyone's kind of got this blank canvas, and it's how that canvas evolves, how their childhood is created and almost provided that then can help them springboard or help them find a way to achieve their next success. So even thinking back to your childhood, like what was your childhood like coming up? Who was Benby before the success and before the professional?
I think just a regular, I'd say your average kind of upbringing. Like my dad was in the military as well. Yeah. So he did 22 years in the Air Force as an aircraft engineer. My mum, probably for the majority of the time that dad was serving, she kind of gave up her chance or option to pursue any kind of career, especially then falling pregnant. Her job became raising myself and my brothers, right? Yeah. That was her profession. I'd like to think she did a pretty good job.
Really good job.
So yeah, we moved around a lot because dad was in the military, so every 2 years or so we'd probably move, but then we finally settled in Lincolnshire, and school and everything there was just normal, I guess.
So that's interesting because I've had a few guests on now who've said like their parents moved around a lot. And do you think that helped evolve your skills as a child to make new friends? And
for sure, you have to, right? Like,
yeah.
But it's also really weird because even at a young age, in going somewhere, you're probably just forming these relationships for a short period of time. Like, that when you're going there. Yeah. Because you've seen it all before multiple times. So you'll move somewhere, find someone who you create like a great connection with, or you think, and then all of a sudden you're up and out, you're packing boxes again and you're moving somewhere else. And at that point there was no like social media or WhatsApp or anything like that, so you can't really stay connected with these guys, and it all just I have no idea where they are like now, what they're doing.
Yeah, it is. I find it really
odd, right? It fell off a cliff, like it stopped on that day that we moved. That was it. So then when you went somewhere else and you knew you were purely just building this relationship for the sake of that period of time, that's an odd feeling.
Yeah, 100%. And there's two sides to the coin. You've got people who'll be listening who have had friends from when they were literally like 3 and now they're 20 and they haven't moved and they've forged these strong relationships. But then also on the other hand, you would not go from friendship to friendship, but you'd move through different friendships because that's how it evolved. What are your thoughts on both sides of the coin?
Well, now I have, after we settled in Lincoln, I still have like 5, 6 mates from home that we all grew together through university when they went and when I joined the military and whatever else. But that is still very much there. That's still like a very solid foundation of people that I can rely on at any point back home, regardless of whether I'm here or there. And then I'd say now in coming to Dubai as well, you obviously, in the beginning, you probably find these like quicker connections because everyone's searching for someone to help bounce off as you're settling in and going through. And in the beginning, for sure, there were endless, like meaningless connections. But now it's pretty solid. You know, life has settled down for sure here, and with that, you obviously came out, which was a huge bonus for me. Probably a selfish move my part to get you to come.
We'll get on to that bit. Don't you worry, guys, it's coming. The reason I am here. And the reason I say that is because so many people, including myself, like before the military was such a home bird that I struggled to leave. But then you don't know what you don't know. So unless you explore, you're never going to find anything else. So I was always in one place, whereas you moved around quite a lot. So being so set in my ways then makes you almost believe there's nothing else out there because this is life.
Yeah, of
you know what I mean? Whereas you evolved from one to the other. So I think that really supported your development as a child.
It was easy for me to leave, as well. Like when I joined the military, that wasn't a difficult decision for me to leave home. That wasn't a difficult decision because we'd been around and we moved around and whatever else, you know. So I think it just allowed us to be in a place where wherever we were, we would have to make it work. You have no other option, right? So in going somewhere else and joining the military, well, that had to work because there was no other idea to go from there.
Yeah. And what would you say to someone now who was probably similar to me, who all they know is the friend next door, Chris from around the corner, they're my friends and this is my job, but I know there's more out there. What would you say to those people who are home birds as such, but have a feeling that there's more out there?
I think probably like, what's the worst that can happen if you go for it?
Yeah.
And the real answer to that is you just go back home, back to where you were. You know, you can fly to a different country, you can move to a different part of the UK or Europe or wherever else. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
And if you only stay there for 6 months, that's also okay. No one is saying that it then is becoming a failure or it's not gone right or like it's all fine and it's all meant to work in that kind of way. But if you don't give it a go, you've got no idea what's on the other side of that door. You have to be like prepared to walk through it.
100%. And what's the saying? It's something like the pain of trying is not as bad as the pain of regret.
100%.
100%. Yeah, it's interesting. Then, so if you had to describe you as a child, were you a gamer that sat behind a TV? Were you out active, trying new things all the time? What were you as a kid like? Yeah, help me visualize it.
Fearless, I think.
Yeah,
pretty fearless. But with that, I never broke a bone in my body, which is strange given some of the choices I made as a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, just fearless, out there, active, always outside, whether it was in the garden or out on the street, like with the neighbours or down the park or like wherever it was, just always outside. And I think that's something that I would really like to try and instill in the family as they grow.
100%. I think, you know what, I was saying that now, and even me asking you that question, times are a little bit different now with the phones and social media and all the thing on technology, but still having that foundation of movement and getting outside, I think is really important for any kid's development.
Even for an adult, like now, right?
Yeah.
We were talking just the other day about how I've started spending more time down at the beach in the morning because it's a place of like calm and serenity. And right now, it's what I need. And that's now become more important than anything in what I do in the morning and taking Lola down there or whatever else. That's a huge part of my day now. So if it can be so important for me as a 32-year-old, then I can only imagine how important it is as someone in their super young years.
Yeah, 100%. But then from the point of if you started as a child, you're more likely to continue that rather than trying to break a habit of not going outside. But absolutely. And then military life, because that's really interesting. Obviously, that's where we met. But what was it always, I am destined for the military because my dad did? Or was it kind of a, you know what, I don't really know what to do, so what was the angle for you?
Definitely the latter. I was in school purely to play football. We had like Wednesday afternoon like games and whatever else in the league and all the competitions and all of that sort of stuff, like the National Cup and whatever.
So were you academic or not?
I pass all of my exams without revision. I'd say naturally I'm relatively intelligent.
Yeah.
But would I study and practice to pass an exam? No, not at all. I didn't enjoy the academic side of it.
Yeah.
But I had a relatively high level of natural ability, I'd say. So I was in school just to play footy, and then my dad told me that if you join the military and you're good at sport, you'll barely work a day. And I had no plans to go to university because if I did, I knew that I would have gone to do sports science, something along those lines, which I never would have put into practice.
Yeah.
And would have just got pissed for 3 years, which is like fine, whatever. That's what that's what most people did. But then I would have probably just ended up joining the military anyway, because I saw what my dad provided for me and my two brothers and my mum growing up, in terms of we were never spoiled, but if we couldn't physically get something for ourselves, or there was no way for us to get something that we needed, not wanted, something that we needed, then my dad would provide that. And I said to myself, if I can get to where, when I joined, if I can get to where my dad is in life and be able to provide for my family in the way that he's provided for me and my brothers, then I would be an incredibly happy man.
Yeah.
So the easiest way for me to do that was to do what he did, right? The path has been has been laid, and I've just got to walk in the same steps that my dad did, and for sure I'll get there. Yeah. Like I have to.
Yeah. Success leaves clues.
And so that's why I joined.
And was it always, what did your dad do in the military?
He was an aircraft engineer as well.
So he was the same. Okay, so literally it was the carbon copy path.
Yeah, he was on the electrical side.
Yeah.
Whereas I did the mechanical side.
But did you have any enjoyment? Were you playing with cars before? Were you playing with bikes before? Or was it literally as soon as you went into the military, that's when you started?
No, I just used to fix the chain on my bike. That was like,
and then under a fast jet?
That's it. And then, yeah.
Wow. Come on then. What everyone wants to know, basic training. What was that like? Like some highlights. How did you feel like actually signing on the dotted line and going to basic training being like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, you get your head shattered straight away, right? You're like, shit.
Yeah, oh, wow.
That's real. And you're away from all of your home comforts.
In the deep end.
In the deep end, yeah, straight in. But if I am to look back at it and analyse it, it's really the only way that they can do it, because the 100%. People who are not meant to be there will drop out
and rebel. Yeah.
Within the first week, day, even. And you can see people dropping like flies on a daily basis, and it almost then becomes I can't be one of them. So I have to, even if I leave later, I will make it through basic training, regardless of how difficult it is. And someone at the age of 18, like people coming in at 3 o'clock in the morning, smashing on the lockers, waking you up. Like, that's just annoying. Well, annoying.
Yeah.
Go away, let me sleep. And then they come back an hour later and they're making you get changed into different things. And it's designed to break
It's bringing it
you
all back.
down. But like, if I look at it, like, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's actually really, really an intelligent way of trying to get what you want out of the people that are there.
100%. And essentially what they want at that stage is yes men.
Yeah.
What they want is, we need something doing. Will you do it? Yes or no?
And a level of resilience.
Yeah.
Like, when things get tough, are you just going to call it a day, or are you going to try and push through and see what's on the other side of that door?
Yeah, 100%. And it like, the more I look back and think about, because at the time you're thinking, oh, this is shit. Nah, what am I doing here? Terrible. But then now we're looking back at it. If you look at how resilient we did become because of that, and you look at, if we had of, obviously I was different to you, what I experienced, but going then into a battlefield, if you can't take orders from a sergeant in a in a barrack block, covered with shelter, warm, but yet you're in the battlefield getting shot at and you still can't take up, you know what I mean? It's just building that response and that resilience, even in a comfortable situation.
Yeah, it's just
If you can't do it then, you're not doing it there.
being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Yeah. And was that where you first had that was your first taste of that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. School was not a discomfortable or uncomfortable
New word.
place to be. Yeah, new word. An uncomfortable place to be. It was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Right? I had my mates there.
Cruise through it.
Like, it was just... Plus, you also don't know any different. You go to school from the age of whatever and you leave at the end.
Yeah.
Like, there's no real sort of difference to that. But then when you get there, yeah, for sure, they take you out your comfort zone. But so many people have gone through it, right? It's
100%.
not the most difficult thing in the world. Otherwise, there wouldn't be an Air Force.
Seems at the time, because that's the most you've been stressed to.
Yeah.
But then it increases that stress tolerance, and then you build and develop on top of that, don't you?
Yeah.
What funniest story that you remember from basic training, or one moment that will stay with you forever from basic training?
Just, I think they did a block inspection. You obviously everyone had their jobs,
Yeah.
right?
Within the block.
Within
Okay.
block.
Yeah.
Probably about, I don't know, I guess like 5 minutes or so before the inspection took place, someone went and took a shit and I didn't clean it. After the whole thing, we had like a rule, because there were the guys who were older than us that had joined, and they had a level of understanding of what it took to get through.
Yeah.
So we all followed their lead.
Yeah.
And they set a rule: 15 minutes before the inspection, toilets are out of bounds.
Yeah.
They'll be done. If you need to do anything, get done before 15 minutes before inspection. Otherwise, hold it.
Yeah.
I don't care what situation you're in. No one knows who the guy was that did it.
No one knows.
No. We were all ordered to run up 2 flights of stairs, get changed, take everything out of your lockers, and we had to get changed into 4 different outfits, all within like a minute, and then run back down. It's called like a change parade or dress parade or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so we were up and down these stairs, all for this one selfish guy. Still no one knows who it was.
Well, if you're watching, then he remembers it. If you're listening, he remembers it.
Yeah, screw you.
And you know what's interesting with that is, that was so long ago, and it's amazing what people remember, because people don't remember what you say, people remember almost how they feel, and that made you feel a certain way at a point.
Yeah, for sure.
That is so deeply ingrained that you'll never forget it.
Yeah, I think a couple of people dropped out after that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was not one of the recruits. Maybe it was one of the staff that did it.
Yeah. And then passing through basic training, what was it, 10 weeks when you went?
Yeah. 9 weeks.
Yeah, 9-10 weeks. And then you went off to Cosford to do your trade training.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously, how did your military career unfold after that? So obviously you've gone through the moving around with your dad, growing up, obviously being surrounded by love and support, and coasting through school to a degree, but passing at a good level.
Yeah.
Military, and now your professional career starts. How does that unfold?
My first posting was back to Lincoln, back to Wellington.
Okay.
So I was at home for 18 months. You do between 18 months and 2 years before you go back for like your extended training.
Yeah.
And that is like a super, how do you say? I don't know, it's like an entry level into working on the jet. So you can shadow people, but you're not really working because, of course, you can't be responsible for the jobs. But you get the basic tire pressure checks and oil changes and all of that sort of stuff. Emptying the toilets, that was on my first day. Happened, covered me.
Did it?
Yeah. I got asked to go and change. Flight had just come down. All the crew got off, landed, taxied, stopped, parked. Goes to change the toilet, lift down the flap, go to put in the key to pull it down, open up the hatch, and then you put on this giant tube which sucks everything out from the cabin toilet.
Yeah.
I put the key in, pull down the stopper, empties all over me. Like the Portaloo blue rack of sand that it's filled with as you flush it. This whole load just comes, empties on me. First day on the job.
Welcome.
So I walked back in, stood in the middle of, the control room, basically. Everyone's laughing at me. Not a single bit of sympathy, right? And they're like, right, go back, get showered, get changed, and then come back. This is on a Friday, by the way.
Oh, half-day Fridays, and that happens.
Not for me. Went back, got changed. Well, I went to get changed. I thought, let me see if I can blag myself here. Called the sergeant on the front desk and said, listen, I'll come back to get changed, but all of my overalls are dirty. They're all in the wash. They're all getting sorted out. So it's Friday. I was going to wear these and then obviously get them sorted, then come back in Monday for... He's like, what do you mean they're dirty? It's your first day on the job. How can they be dirty? Well, obviously we've been like doing little type training and whatever else. He said, all right, don't worry, just come back in your normal clothes and I'll give you a pair of mine. Instead of saying...
There you go, good.
Just go home for the weekend. You've just been covered in shit. Go home for the weekend, no problem.
Welcome to the military, son.
So did that. First posting there, first day. Stayed there 18 months. Back to Cosford again. Then off the back of that down to Odium, Hampshire. Worked on the Chinooks.
What were you training on first, fast jets?
No, it was called an AWACS Sentry. It's the massive one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I went down to the Chinooks and I had a real appetite then to try and get into somewhere that wasn't comfortable. Whether it was Afghan, Mali, Africa, and of course, like working on Chinooks, that's going to be your best bet because these guys are one of the first people to get to wherever the action is.
On the ground, yeah.
I got there, going through the training on the specific aircraft type. As we're going through that, we get a notice that we're pulling out of Afghan.
Yeah.
So, done. No chance of going there then. Then we end up just going to like training places. That was like San Diego and Vegas. Nothing too like frightening or whatever. Get another posting.
Not a bad place to practice though.
Yeah, it was good, yeah, for sure. But it wasn't what I was looking for, right?
Yeah.
Get posted again. About 2 months after I leave, chatting to the guys back down there. Oh, we're just starting up in Africa. So they're now going. So I've missed it again. If I'd have stayed, I'd have caught that. Got another posting back to Lincoln to work on the Shadow, which is an amazing, tiny little twin prop Beechcraft King Air aeroplane that had been converted for military use.
Interesting.
Super cool. Inside, fully decked out.
Yeah.
Has got a huge range of capabilities, and this went to Afghan.
And not many people would search for that ticket to Afghan, but you did.
This went to Afghan, which meant that I was going. Finally.
And what were the thoughts when you found out you were going, when you were told? What was the thoughts?
Then it kicked in.
Right.
This whole time I'd been chasing it.
Yeah.
Now they were like, yeah, you're going. And I was like, ah, shit.
Oh.
Posting? Any chance of getting a move? But yeah, so then then you just do your pre-deployment training and whatever else, and you go through all of these different things, like what potential threats and what life there would look like. Plus the guys were already circling through.
Yeah.
So you had experience of there were guys coming back. It's not so bad. Like, it's fine. This is what's happening. It's American owned air base that we're going to be working out of. Facilities there are fantastic. Food, gym, the actual sleeping conditions are not bad. The work conditions, 12 hours a day, 7 days straight.
Yeah.
After a couple of weeks, you maybe get a day off. But it's fine. It's what you would expect it to have been.
Yeah.
As opposed to Vegas and San Diego and all of those places. This is what I was craving, and part of the reason that I joined the military, to try and get some of this experience.
How did that develop you as a person? Like, what did that teach you that you still carry with today?
What, Afghan or the military?
Maybe Afghan specifically, from what you learned out there, but then also like the military across the board.
I mean, I've never been late to a viewing, right?
Really?
Because
I've
just never been late anywhere.
Yeah.
I hate being late.
Have you been in Dubai?
4.5 years.
Okay, 4.5
And
years.
with the traffic now, still no problem.
Yeah.
Never late to a viewing. Wasn't late here, right?
Yeah, absolutely not.
I can't be late. It annoys me. It annoys me more when other people are late, because it means that they feel their time is more valuable than mine. Which unfortunately it's not.
Inshallah, as they say.
Um,
And that has come from the military, let's say, because it's, if you're not 5 minutes early, you're 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
And it's drilled into you from day one. But that
and the phrase when they say it is so annoying. Really,
when they say it, yeah. But they drill it that much that it almost just becomes a part of your identity.
Becomes part of it. Yeah, respect, integrity, service before self, and excellence. Those are the
Rise, he remembers.
Those are the four
100%.
core values, right?
Yeah. And would you recommend other people to join, obviously similar, because obviously if people watching this from the UK, or even we don't know other military experiences in other countries, but from the UK side of things, from an Air Force perspective?
Yeah, for sure. It wouldn't, would I stay there for a full 22 years? Clearly not. But I feel like there is so much to be learned through going through the processes that they put you through and those steps.
Yeah.
If you're struggling with, I'd say almost anything, it can be an incredible fix for you. Self-discipline, learning to deal with exterior discipline.
Yeah.
For you, giving out discipline.
100%, yeah.
Because
the lead.
When we first met, as happened on the wedding day, right? Like, when we first met, your job was to discipline the guys who hadn't ironed their kit before we even started a personal training. High standards, yeah, high standards.
Absolutely. So just to give a little bit of context on that, so because of my role as a physical training instructor, that's where we first met in the military. And we would go out and train the troops to then be ready for deployment and just fit on the ground so they could deal with whatever was necessary and essentially be ready for the fitness test at any point. So you are literally ready for life. Yeah. So then when Ben first came in, or when you first came in, it was maybe 150 troops in a hall. And then we'd walk through, bring everyone to attention, and we'd have a class, and then we'd go over, I'd march you out, and then I'd literally be walking around looking at kit.
And then it sounds so ridiculous.
But then because we were so solid on standards that whether it was literally a sock not ironed or a bit of dirt on shoes, it's literally the tiny little things that if your shoes are clean, your socks are clean, and everything is so disciplined and attention to detail that you won't miss a little thing on your rifle, you won't miss a bit on your actual important kit.
Yeah, for sure.
It just has there's that attention to detail and standards. So that's where me and Ben first met, and that's kind of where our relationship grew from. Solid base to start, if you ask me.
You're mining.
And then we came back to then obviously my wedding was 4 weeks ago, and he inspected my kit, found a crease after 4 hours of sitting down, and then I had to do 25 push-ups. So that was that story. But the big shift. So the military taught you a lot of things. It brought you a lot of adversity. It brought you a lot of challenge, and it almost made you grow as a person. But then what was the? Nah, I want more, because from what I remember, you were potentially getting promoted.
Yeah.
And then there was that point where obviously I spoke to you a little bit, but then it went quiet. What was the shift and the look to go, you know what, there's something else in life for me? And what was the feeling, the uncertainty with that?
I think I probably owe a large amount of it to my little brother. He used to live in Dubai, then went home to chase love, and he's now married with a baby on the way, so congrats.
Beautiful.
Younger
brother as well.
Younger brother, yeah. So I'd probably owe a lot to him, because he was here, and then he went back, and then he went into software sales in the UK, and he was doing like really, really well. Like we spoke about definition of success.
Yeah.
Right. And I was looking at him as being more successful than me, because I based it purely on finances at that time. I had a range of success throughout the military, but then I was offered the promotion, and they said, with it, you're going to have to go up to Scotland. I had no plans of wanting to go there. So I said, I'll take the promotion if I can stay here. And they were like, no, you have to go to Scotland, or don't take the promotion. I said, okay, well, I'll turn it down, and then next year, see what happens. No. If you turn it down, you're not eligible for 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah.
So you've got to stay where you are for another 2-3 years without even being eligible to get promoted again. I said, well, what about like America or somewhere a little bit more exotic?
Find every
send
way.
me somewhere else.
Yeah.
Just don't send me up there. Like, I'm not interested in, I can't do it. All right, fine. Thank you very much. Cancel promotion. Here's my notice to leave. I'm out. But you had to give a year's notice, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, I've got a year to try and find something to do. My little brother said, I said to my little brother, you're in sales. And my older brother's two best mates also work in sales or recruitment or whatever.
Yeah.
Both successful also. And I said to my little brother, what do you reckon? Because I'm an engineer, but I can also create value in relationships and whatever, and selling, that's a big part of that. So I could work for maybe like Siemens selling hospital equipment or whatever else, like all sorts of different things. He said, why don't you consider real estate in Dubai? I was like, what? So just consider going out there and doing that, maybe have a little look into it. We own property in the UK. Used to love watching Homes Under the Hammer.
Was it?
As I'm sure almost everyone did. So like, why not consider that? So had a little look, couple of interviews, and was offered, I think 3 positions from various companies, which is that's nothing to brag about, because out here you don't get a salary as a broker, so there's no.
I'm going to say,
like, I could give anyone a position anywhere, right?
Yeah, okay. So for the guys listening who are thinking or may think about, potentially property in Dubai, there are jobs out there that are attainable.
For sure.
Yeah. And then, so what was you had the interviews, you had the job offers, okay, the feeling of, right, this is what I want to do, or was there an uncertainty of, right, do we just were you so set and certain, or was it still that?
I was certain to make it work again, because it was the same. I decided this is what I was going to do. 100% or nothing. It's pointless. Can't come 8 hours on a flight away from home and not try.
100%. And there's something deeper with that as well, is like, from everything that we've just talked about and what I know is you from a person, you either do it or you don't, but you do it 100%, and you do everything 100%, and that shows, depending on what you want to call success, but whether it is your family or your work.
3 kids in 2 years, mate. 100%.
There's 100% in, 100% commitment. But yeah, there's something to be said about that, and so many people these days struggle with kind of feeling they're moving, but are they 100% into it?
I also think now there's so many avenues for people to try, and a lot of it revolves, I think, around finances and whatnot for the majority of people. There's so many avenues that people are trying to explore here to get X amount, whilst also, and they're just spreading themselves so thin.
Yeah.
And really, they have no idea. Like, jack of all trades, but master of none is like a real sort of common phrase.
100%.
And they're trying to do everything, even in your world.
Yeah.
Right? There's a million different styles of well-being coaches or personal trainers or whatever else.
100%.
But so many people are trying to be every kind of personal trainer, for example.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones who I would like actively seek out are the ones that are really clear about where their direction is.
Yeah.
Not, can I do this today and then this tomorrow and become this person in a couple of weeks? Like, just understand what you are and what you have to offer, and that you can't capture 100% of the market. Be comfortable with that.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Which is the same in my job, right?
100%.
I can't resonate with every single buyer that comes through the door.
Yeah.
Some of them will not like me, and that's okay.
100%. And that
I
shows.
can't be a million different people just to try and capture 100% of the market, because to what level am I then killing myself?
100%. And that is that's a common problem that I come across with a lot of people, that they feel lost, or 2, they feel low on energy, or 3, they feel like unfulfilled. But essentially that can come from lacking a self-direction and a self-pride and a self-value, because they're trying to please everyone and not please themselves.
Yeah.
If I please everyone else, or everyone likes me, but I don't like myself for what I'm doing or my energy or how thin I'm spread. So it is super, super interesting that you've had to be okay with the losses, but by staying true to who you are, and you've done that from day one, which is very interesting, especially in a new world, new place, no salary, but you've still gone and you've just been yourself.
Yeah, for no salary and whatever else coming into the job, it's so easy in the beginning to try and be the person that everyone wants you to be, but it's like trying to work in every area of Dubai.
Yeah.
You cannot do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's so difficult. You can't know the same about each and every single area in Dubai as like a group of 10 people who are specific in that area.
100%.
There's just no way.
Yeah. Be the specialist rather than the generalist.
Yeah.
100%. And then, so you actually came to Dubai on the 1st of January.
Yeah.
1st of January on your own. Didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
Went, right, game on.
My older brother was due to get married on New Year's Eve. And so I booked my flight for New Year's Day so that I could stay for the wedding and then fly New Year's Day. COVID changed things then, and his wedding cake turned into my leaving cake. So we'd picked it up on the day, or the day before, all expecting to go and have a small family wedding. And then they changed on, I think, New Year's Eve, they changed the rules, and it was only like parents that could be there. So then that got cancelled, and we had just a massive party at theirs instead on New Year's Eve. And like I said, their wedding cake turned, they changed, they got some letters, rearranged them.
Did they?
And said, good luck.
How was it leaving them?
That was almost impossible. I was so strong right the way up until I got in the car. I was just about to get in the car to drive down to the airport. That was tough, that one.
Yeah, I know how close you are to your family. You know what? A lot of people couldn't do it. But
Nah.
you were a man who had a mission, and
It's too late by then.
yeah.
You can't not go then.
Yeah.
Far too late. But what I also came now to realise is I might see my family less, but the time I get with them is so much more valuable.
Oh,
And we do so much more in that time.
yeah.
I used to go to mum's and dad's every Sunday for a Sunday dinner, But at one point, it almost felt like a chore. And I was like, oh, I've got to go to mum and dad's. I've got to go there. Whereas now I'm like, I get to see them. And this one word, got and get, has just one letter difference, but the meaning is worlds apart. Now I get to spend time with them, and I get to see them spend time with my kids and without, like that.
100%.
It's so different. And the same with my brothers and whatever else. Or when I go back and I see like my friends back home, and yeah, it's so
chills,
different.
man. And that's such a powerful thing you've just said. Like, all you do is change one of the letters and it gives a completely different meaning to the whole sentence.
Yeah.
So many people now, like when I speak to people and I get to understand their family dynamics, that they're like, oh, I have to go and see my nan or see certain people in their family. They might not have the greatest of relationships by all means, but you still get to do that. Whereas if you leave, that came a point for me when I left. I was like, oh, all those times I was just sat with parents and just not present or not enjoying it because I just took it for granted. You don't realize the only ever moment you have is right now. Whereas when you are constantly surrounded by the same thing, you think you've got a lifetime. But as soon as you change that, you have not. And you're like, wow, not what I'd do to change it, but if I could change the way I thought at that time and be just much more present and ask my mum and dad that question, or how was your day, and generally want to hear how their day was and not, oh, I'll just chat with them because they're always here. It's all right.
Yeah. It just means the world when they're here, you know?
Yeah.
And when you get to go back and whatever else, it makes a huge difference. And you see the difference in Lola when they're here and
yeah, 100%.
whatever else, because everything now is just a little bit more exciting because Granddad's here and Nana's here, and
yeah,
like
exciting.
They haven't seen you for so long.
Yeah.
They want to spend every single waking minute with you.
Yeah. 100%.
They just really don't care for coming to see Elle and I.
Yeah.
They come to see the kids, right? Which
100%.
is great, and I'm fine with that. I'm so fine with that.
But even from that, that's an extension of you. So even spending time with the kids that's my boy's daughter. You know what I mean? So that is just that extension through you and that path through you, which as a grandparent, you can't imagine what the feeling is. You know what I mean?
Nah.
And then first, so you come to Dubai, you know what, it was on a whim, but you know what, I'm going to give everything. I'm going to give this shot everything. How long was it until you made your first deal?
First month.
First month. Is that rare?
Yeah. It was back then.
Was it?
More so. But it kind of fell out of nowhere. I was dealing with a buyer, and one of the girls in the office was dealing with a seller. This buyer was trying to buy this house, but with a different broker, but the broker was messing them around. And myself and the other broker within the company just made it easier for him to buy the house, it's all he wanted. And for him to sell the house, that's all they wanted.
Yeah.
Whoever was here was just making it a lot more difficult, like no clarity. Muddied waters, it was all over the place. We called them both up. What do you want? I want to pay X amount for this house, and I want to sign a contract today, and I want to transfer the property in 30 days. Cool. He wants to buy the house for this much. He wants to sign a contract today, and he wants to transfer the property within 30 days. Cool. Great, let's do it.
Wow.
Whatever was happening over here, I don't know. But to me, that was like my first serious conversation with someone.
Yeah.
About it, right? Because we were getting there. We were also close to not getting there. If he'd have just sharpened up a little bit and been a little bit less of an idiot, he would have had the deal. But that was a moment where I had to just be as clear as I could be, and using part of that military experience for finding out what's the problem and what is the solution here.
Yeah, 100%.
It was easy for me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe I'll be okay at this.
And that gave you the momentum then to kick on.
Well, so I thought. Then I didn't do a deal for a couple of months. Yeah.
Okay. Feelings in those couple of months? Was there moments of, oh, fuck?
Yeah, of course.
How did you overcome them? Because you could have very easily gone home and gone, nah. I know you like the adventure.
Just got to stay the course, I think. I don't know. Just in the office, work more. If there's a problem, work more. No Wolf of Wall Street where it's like, does your girlfriend think you're a worthless piece of shit? Cool, pick up the phone and start dialing.
Yeah.
Like, any kind of reason there is, just call people. For us, that was the solution. That was like therapy.
Wow.
Like, if you're struggling there, call people.
Okay.
What's the worst that can happen? I'm not selling. Go away. Maybe in a slightly more aggressive tone.
How did you deal with no's? Like, a lot of people can't deal with it. And
Yeah, it's part of the daily routine now, isn't it?
yeah, but even from the start, like getting no after
From the start, I got told to fuck off on my first day. Don't know if I can say that.
You've said it, you can.
Yeah,
It's truth.
called someone, asked them if their house was available for sale, and clearly it was not. And he didn't appreciate the call. But then, the best thing about that was the worst that can happen.
Yeah, and it happened early.
It happened early.
Yeah.
Outside of that, a no then suddenly sounds like a yes.
Well, this is about it.
Right.
I can work with that.
And that's fine. It's not
Yeah.
not over here. It's
Yeah.
manageable.
So actually, the bigger fall down earlier on really helped actually
Yeah.
get you over that.
Yeah, because then by the time you call the next person, or 5 calls that you've forgotten about that. Clearly, I haven't forgotten about it because it's 4.5 years later, and I still vividly
Feel it,
remember it.
Yeah.
But it just stops becoming. You get numb to that,
Yeah.
I think.
And people listening, thinking about, you know what, I could do that real estate thing. What's your biggest piece of advice just from what you learned very early on in the early days?
It's in the beginning, just pure numbers. Just call as many people as you can, meet as many people as you can, speak to as many people as you can, because the guy who's making 100 calls will generate more business than a guy who makes 10. If I call 100 people, my chance for success is 10 times that of the guy that calls 10 people. That's 10 times.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Why not? Like, just call people.
And it's interesting because people hearing that, that makes logical sense. You know, I mean, listen to you.
Pure logic.
That is sense. But then so many people in the world today compare to Steve, who's been doing this for 10 years, who's making one call and making a deal. Because but he spent however many years building up his rapport, his network, his connection.
Yeah.
So
I can teach you what to say.
Yeah.
And how to say it, and like tonality and all of these things, which actually in the deeper sense of sales or whatever, like
psychology
that will mean something.
Yeah.
But for the beginning, to get started, hey, just call people.
Cool. 100%. Is it? The journey you've come on, mate, is really inspiring. It's inspiring to me. Extremely inspiring. And just knowing the time we spent playing football, the time we had these calls about like relationships or going out or coming to pay, everything like that.
Yeah.
And now just to sit here to read off that bio and introduction like that for your real inspiration, and you've took a risk in your life to achieve what you have, and that's very uncommon.
What does your bio say?
No one's done mine yet. We'll see where my first podcast is. But even reflecting on it, and people listening, you've got to take that risk, because if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. But people aren't willing. People do the same thing and be like, oh, why isn't my life changing? It isn't going to happen. You've got to step outside the comfort zone. You've got to leave your family home. You've got to... One of the biggest bits of advice I give people is leave your hometown.
Yeah.
Go and experience something new. Leave your hometown. Do the first one. Then
move next door.
And it was interesting. I always said, you know what, I couldn't leave my hometown, but yet I moved 9 hours away across the world. I found that easier than moving an hour away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And really stepping out there, because as you said...
Driving over an hour a day into work and that, right?
An hour and a half.
You couldn't not stay at home.
I didn't want to stay away from home, yeah. Yeah, and now, like, taking that...
It's absurd to think, looking back now.
Yeah, if we had to reflect on my life and how my days looked. But it was interesting, like, I wrote something on it the other day in one of my blogs, was... I think someone said to me, you've lived the same week, 52 weeks of the year for the last 3 years.
What do you mean?
The same week. Your Mondays look the same. Your Tuesdays are the same. Your Wednesdays to Sunday are the same. But then you repeat it every week. Apart from maybe the 8 weeks leave that I got from the military, everything was the same.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I feel unfulfilled. Of course I fucking do. I've done the same thing for 4 years.
Gosh, yeah.
In the same relationships, following the same patterns, leaving a relationship, going back to it because I felt, oh, something's missing. Of course it is, because I'm used to feeling a certain way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little did you know that that was not the way that you were meant to feel, or that you could feel.
Because, and it's interesting when you just go round on the same loop, it just becomes a personality, or it becomes a way of life, and you think that is life.
Yeah.
It takes 1 second, it takes one thought, 1 second and one action to live a completely different life. You could have literally said to me 1 minute before the podcast and gone, no, I'm not doing this. This wouldn't be happening. Life would be different. It wouldn't go out to however many people it's going to see and inspire a lot of people to make that change. It takes one thing in the world. And it's super, super powerful. But then, so you've been in, going back to that, you've been in real estate, what, how many years now?
4.5.
4.5. And build 600 million in total.
Yeah.
Sold. And that's not easy to do. And what stopped you from taking your foot off the gas? What stopped you from going, nah, you know what, I'm comfortable? What?
What's
the driver?
The drive. Yeah, the family, of course, yeah. Providing for them, being in a position where I said before that if I got to where my dad was at his age, I would be an incredibly happy man. At some point, something changed, and I guess I wanted a little bit more to try and surpass what he'd done. Like, why not? That's another challenge in itself. And can I have a family that is happier, healthier, I don't know, experience a little bit more in this world, which now is so much easier to travel and do whatever. And so I guess now the drive is obviously to make sure that they are as well cared for as I would be able to look at myself in the mirror and be happy with.
100%. And what would you say your definition of success is now? Obviously, initially you said it was the financial side back in the day. What is success for you? Because success is very different for a lot of people. It's very specific to that individual. What does it look like? What would you class it as?
Well, I don't know, because when we last spoke about this, I said for me it was ever changing. What I think success is now is probably not what it will look like when like I get there. And I can't remember his name that said it, that always was going around, but it was like, you've already done or achieved things that you said would make you happy. Well, I always think about that. It stayed with me so hard. Like, why is it not enough now? Why can it not be enough? Why do you have to go again? Like, we could stop now and go back home and live a very comfortable life, but why do we not? I don't know.
We've gone down many holes like that. And you know what? Like, even just to elaborate on that point is, if you can be happy with what you do on a daily basis, as in you enjoy your job, you can provide for your family, you can have time with your family that you want, and you get to do what you love to do. Do you need to stop?
No. And I think now we're at a point where I would have achieved relative success, I think, because I can go home when I want, see them when I want, be with them when I want, for as long as I want, but also still have the ability to switch back on when I need to and do what I need to for them to provide financially.
Yeah.
So it's the balance part of it that I was trying to find for so long.
Yeah.
And really actually struggling with finding. I think we're probably there.
Nice.
But I'm sure it'll change still.
We'll see how it evolves. That's the thing, like, we're always evolving, things are always changing. So what you say now may change in a week, may change in an hour, may change in a year.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll change.
And of course it will, because it's ever evolving, and we evolve with different experiences or different things that are presented to us in life. And the evolution that you've taken and you've really come on from ever since I've known you. It's been a pleasure to watch the person like you've turned into, the support that you give people. And one thing I'll give you as well as a lot of credit is you're very truthful. Like, from what I've heard about the brokering game, it can be very, people will cut corners, people will undercut people will be ruthless, because you're on a show. What was the show called? What was the show called?
Yeah, Dubai Hustle.
Dubai Hustle. And that was fairly early on in your career.
End of my first year, yeah.
End of your first year. And even seeing like that, I think that portrayed real estate in a certain way that was ruthless to a degree that people are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
That was my perspective of it. But the way you handle your clients, yourself, your existence is very down the line and very straightforward. Is there any moment that you wish you never did, or you wish you could take back from not being that person?
Nah, no way.
Never.
What's the point? I don't like to live with regrets. Otherwise, that's a completely different rabbit hole. And if you go down there, then I don't know if you come back from there sometimes.
Going back.
Yeah.
100%.
You just go back and like, reflection is fine. And having an appreciation of perhaps mistakes that were made, or moments that maybe things could have gone differently. That's fine to have those, but to have like deep regret in not doing something, or doing something and then I shouldn't have done that. It's too late by then, because the words have already come out of your mouth, or the action's already been taken, and you can't, if you weren't meant to have done it, you never would have done it.
Yeah.
So where you are right now is exactly where you're meant to be.
Big believer of that.
And because of what you've done before, that's why you are there. So are you happy with where you are? Yeah. If you're not happy with where you are, that's not because of where you've been, or perhaps it could be, but you have an option now to change that.
100%.
Right? So, like for me, the majority of it I'm happy with, but of course there are, as you know, parts that I'd like to perhaps work on and change, and hopefully in the coming weeks and months there will be a change in that.
100%. Absolutely.
But that all comes from, and I don't have regrets on like how that happened.
Yeah.
I just have the ability now to make a change going forward, to become a better father, husband, and all-round person.
Amazing, mate. Thank you. And that you've just hit the first nail on the head from like the uncommon philosophy that I share with my clients and people that I work with is awareness. When you're aware, you have an option. Action, act on it and see where that leads you, because when you're aware of it, you have a choice to change. And then as you're changing and acting, then you can realign with what feels right to you.
Yeah.
Those three things. You need awareness first, because you don't know what you don't know. But then when you do know, you can act on it. Once you've acted, then you align, and then you course correct on the way. And that's the biggest thing that you've just said. And so strip one thing before we finish. Actually, two things. Strip away the successes, strip away the accolades and everything that you've achieved. How would you like people to describe you as a person underneath it all? How would you describe yourself, as in from an energy standpoint, from a person, from a spirit?
I think probably caring is one of the most important attributes. Caring for others is a massive attribute that I hold dearly, and I like people around me to have that as well. Honesty, of course, means everything.
Interesting, because you live it every day at your core, and your values, family are everything.
Loving, yeah.
Very loving in everything that you do. And it's really important to be aware of what they are, because then you know what your values are and what your truth is, because people live off the success. You could easily live off the success of what you've built and what you've sold, but you don't. You come back to your core of who you are. Would you say it's changed you over the years? The money?
Yeah, for sure there's elements. There are slight parts, but more so in just, I think the things that are on the fringes of, there's a dartboard there, I don't know if everyone knows, but if the center of that dartboard, right, is like here, then those things, that is still very true. That's still true north, that's still center. But the things on the outskirts of that, maybe like the things that I like doing, or the place I like spending my time now, it's not changed me as a person, it's just changed things which are accessible to me. It's opened up a world of different places to eat, places to go, things to do, things to buy, like those things. But I don't think as a person, I would like to hope not.
You stay true. Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to deep dive, to just have a different conversation additional to what we've already had. We go down rabbit holes, we go down different things. But any of you guys who are listening, like if you've got any comments or you got any thoughts, one, especially about the broker world here in Dubai, about military experience, about adversity, challenge, anything that you're feeling, please put it in, because we want these conversations to be almost mirrors and reflections for you. Whatever resonates with you, to then put it in the comments. Let's have a discussion about it, because unless you put it out there and start understanding it and moving through it, you'll always stick with it. And that is one of the biggest things for me to bring to these conversations is you see the success that Ben has achieved, but you don't know everything underneath that it's been governed by and that it's been achieved because of. Everybody goes through breakthroughs. Everyone goes through breakdowns. And usually, not all the time, but usually it's when you're at your lowest that you have your biggest spike, because you don't take no for an answer. And if you feel lost, that is a superpower, because now you have the ability to create your own direction in life. And for me, the uncommon life is all about that. It's about living your truth, not the common truth that society tells you should live. Step out of that societal box and frame and label and live what feels true to you. And if you have any questions, anything at all, you can obviously contact myself, put it below. You can contact Ben as well. We're more than happy to help. But other than that, guys, thank you for listening. And until next time, live without labels. And thank you very much for joining the Uncommon Conversation.